Hey gaming fans, so today's another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile, and this one is Chronomaly. These are kind of a fun deck. You know, I don't know how competitive they are. I wouldn't know if you would actually be able to win any tournaments with them, but still kind of a fun deck, and they can do a lot of fun tricks. So let's get to the deck profile. So for the first monster we have Chronomaly Gordian Knot, if I said that right. So we got 3 of those. This is a good one. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon one Chronomaly monster from your hand, and if you do, this card's level becomes the current level of that special summon monster. So you do have a few level variances in this deck, so you have 3, 4, and 5, so that gives us a lot of good rank plays, especially for the rank, the Xyz monsters that come with these guys. Then we play 3 of the Chronomaly Crystal Skull. So this is your kind of searcher of the deck. If you control a face-up Chronomaly monster, you can discard one card, or you can discard this card to the graveyard and then add one Chronomaly monster from your deck or your graveyard to your hand. So that's cool that it actually also adds from the graveyard, just in case the card you need is in the graveyard and you've already ran through all the copies in your deck. And you can only use this once per turn, unfortunately, but that's pretty common now with modern Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, where most cards are once per turn, hard once per turns. And then we're going to play 3 Chronomaly Crystal Bones. So this is like the body, and that's the head, I guess. I don't know. So if your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. So kind of like Cyber Dragon. And then when you do, you can special summon one Chronomaly monster from your hand or graveyard. So sort of the same idea. You know, you could grab it from the hand or graveyard. So, you know, if something's in the grave and you need it, you can grab it from there. And then we are playing 3 Chronomaly Tupsa Rocket. This is a one of the newer cards, I believe, that just came out. If this card is normal or special summon, you could send one Chronomaly monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, then target one face-up monster on the field, and it loses attack equal to the level / rank of the monster sent to the graveyard times 200. So another thing that this thing does is, this deck does, is it does a lot of sending to the graveyard, which is cool because there is a lot of graveyard recursion. And then a number Xyz monster that's summoned using this card on the field gains the following effect. That monster can make 2 attacks on monsters during the battle phase, and you can only use the effect of it once per turn. So a really good card. You know, it allows you to do the extra attack, kind of like the Black Luster Soldier move, where you can do 2 attacks on monsters. And that's critical in this deck because this deck can OTK. Then we got 3 of the Chronomaly Nebra Disc. So it's a level 4. When this card is normal summoned, you could add one Chronomaly card from your deck to your hand. So I like that it's card and not just monster. Except for himself, so you can't search himself. And if this card is in the graveyard and all monsters you control are Chronomaly monsters, minimum 1, you can special summon this card in defense position. So it's got its own little graveyard recursion as well. You cannot activate cards or effects during your turn to activate this effect except Chronomaly cards and effects, which is fine. And you can only use the effect once per turn. So this guy has a lot going for it. The fact that it can recur itself. I mean, its only downside is that you can't special summon anything else other than Chronomalys. But that's fine. You're probably just going to be focusing on the Chronomaly anyways. And then we're playing one of the Chronomaly Tula Guardian. So this is a level 5. And if there's a face-up field spell card on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand, and you can only control one of them. So that's why I only put 1 in the deck. You know, it is situational. You do have to have the field spell, but there is ways to search that field spell out. So pretty much if you draw this guy, you'll almost always be able to special summon him. And then we got 2 of the Chronomaly Moi. These Easter Island head guys. If you control a face-up Chronomaly monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in face-up defense position. So that's good because all these guys are level 5. So this is your gateway into your rank 5 plays. And of course, they're all searchable. So for the spells, we got 1 Raigeki, just for some board control. 1 Monster Reborn. Again, you know, just more recursion because you do throw a lot of stuff into the graveyard. 1 terraforming, because we are playing a field spell in this deck. For the Chronomaly spells, we have 3 Chronomaly Technology. So this is kind of like your draw spell of the deck. You target 1 Chronomaly monster in your graveyard, banish it, then look at the top 2 cards of your deck, add 1 of them to your hand, and send the other to the graveyard. So again, more sending to the graveyard, and you can only activate 1 Chronomaly Technology per turn. I don't know why they did this with 1 per turn, because it doesn't seem like it's that powerful, but you cannot special summon any monsters except Chronomaly. So again, it kind of locks you into the Chronomaly theme, but that's okay. Then for the field spell, I'm playing 3 of those as well, just to make sure we always have access to it. Once per turn, you can banish 1 Chronomaly monster from your graveyard, then target 1 Chronomaly monster in your graveyard and with the same level as the banished monster and special summon it. So that's good, because we play all 3s, 4s, and 5s, so hopefully you'll always have a target for that. And the good thing is, it's a once per turn, but it's not a hard once per turn. So if you had another one in your hand, you could send this one to the graveyard, play the other one, and then activate the effect again. Then, as part of the OTK of this deck, we play Mini Guts. So you tribute 1 monster to target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. The attack becomes 0 until the end of the turn. And then this turn, when it is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack in the graveyard. So if you can hit one of their big guys, you turn it to 0, you attack into it, and you're going to do a ton of damage. And just for some, back row destruction, I decided to throw in some Twin Twisters. Also help to ditch any cards out of your hand that you want to use for your other spells that you need monsters in the graveyard. For the traps, we're playing 3 Rock Bombardment. This is kind of our Foolish Burial of the deck. You could send a rock monster from your deck to your from the deck. Select 1 rock monster in your deck and send it to the graveyard and inflict 500 damage to your opponent's life. So, you get a little bit of burn, but the idea is a lot of your Chronomaly monsters are rock monsters, so you're going to send pretty much any one of them that you need into the graveyard, so you could reborn it or add it back to your hand or special summon it in one of the many ways. To help with the reborning, we got 2 back to the front. Same idea, just kind of like your Call of the Haunted. I just chose this one because most of the time you'd probably want them in defense mode. The Chronomaly monsters themselves, you're not always going to be attacking with them, so you're probably going to be using them for materials anyways. I just like that this is, you don't have to worry about it being destroyed by like a simple MST or something. Then for some more monster support, to deal with monsters, a Storming Mirror Force. I mean, you could put whatever you want there. And 3 Lost Winds. Just to deal with, monster effects. It was either this or Effect Veiler, or maybe even just whatever hand trap of your choice. I just thought maybe Lost Wind would be cool in this deck. So that's the deck, and then let's look at the extra deck that we have. So we have, so I put 2 of the Chronomaly Crystal Chrononaut, I don't know. You should watch my video on me trying to pronounce Yu-Gi-Oh card names. Once per turn, this is a rank 3, once per turn, when this card is targeted for an attack, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card. This turn, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also, your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving this card. So this is really good. I mean, it can kind of stop your opponent for 1 turn, unless they can kind of banish this guy somehow or bounce him. But, having him on the field could really, and he's got a 2100 body, which is pretty good. Then we have a, number 36 Chronomaly Chateau Hoyuk. I don't know. This is 2 level 4 Chronomaly monsters. So you are playing some level 4s. And then once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach 1 Xyz materials from this card and target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Change its attack to 0. And then at the end of this, until the end of this turn, and then you contribute 1 Chronomaly monster, then target 1 monster your opponent controls whose current attack is different than its original attack, and destroy that target. So it's really cool that you could just turn any monster to 0 and pretty much just destroy it if you need to, or you could just ram right into it. So a lot of options there. This one we're playing 2 of is the, it's kind of hard to see, it's really dark. This is the number 33 Chronomaly Machu Mech. This is 2 level 5 monsters. Once per turn, you could detach 1 Xyz material from this card to target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to the difference between its original attack and its current attack. And if you do, this card gains that attack. So this is the combo piece for your Mini Guts card that I showed earlier. This one here. So you would turn the monster to 0. And then you can actually do a ton of damage, and then he'll actually gain that damage, gain that attack, and that could pretty much kill your opponent. Then we play which that are the non-chronomalies. I put in 1 Gorgonic Guardian. This guy he requires 2 rock monsters, level 3. But once per turn, during either player's turn, you could detach a material from this guy. Target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes 0. And if it does, its effects are negated. So this guy does 2 really good things. Like he turns the attack to 0 and he negates the effect. And these effects last until the end of the turn. And then once per turn, you can target 1 monster on the field with 0 attack and destroy it. So he's very similar to that other guy that reduces to the 0. Really cool card, and you can really pull off some really interesting tricks with this guy. Then for some standard stuff, you know, the Cowboy. Gaga Cowboy, in case you can rank into him to do some, 800 damage at the end phase kind of thing, or during your turn. Abyss Dweller to disrupt plays. Number 101, Silent Honor Arc to steal a special summon monster. These are just standard ones that I like to play. Number 61, Volcasaurus. He's a rank 5, and he's cool because he can detach a material and then target a face-up monster your opponent controls and destroy that monster, and then inflict damage equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. So he can also finish the game too. And then for another 5, we got the Adrius, Keeper of Armageddon. He basically could just destroy 1 card just by detaching material. And then we got Underclock Taker. Just some generic rank stuff. So it's a Pentastag. He makes piercing. Power Code Talker. He's pretty good. He can negate effects. And Borrelord Dragon. So a lot of those are just whatever you really like to play in your standard extra deck. But yeah, so that's the Chronomaly deck that I came up with. Kind of a fun deck. I've played around with these guys a few times. I've made a couple of different builds, but this was the one I thought would be kind of fun to do. Anyways, let me know what you think. Throw some comments down below. I always like to hear what you have to say. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.